Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing this evening? It is exactly 6:25 on Sunday evening, and I have been napping this afternoon. I almost didn't vlog because I was like, I could just keep on napping all evening. I was so comfy in bed, but I thought, no, get up and do a short little Sunday evening vlog while Alex is at the movie with his mom. He went to go see the movie Trip to Paradise with Julia Roberts and George Clooney tonight. His mom wanted to go see that because it's by the directors of Mamma Mia, which is like her favorite movie in the entire world. They invited me to go, and I looked at the what do you call it, the trailer for it. It looks like a really cute movie, but I was like, I'm so tired, I just want to relax. So I let them go, and she picked him up, and they went to the movie at 5 o'clock, and I kept on sleeping in bed. Alex was taking a little bit of a nap before he went to the movie. I said to him at brunch, he was like, do you want to go with us? And I was like, no, I'm so tired, I just want to nap. And he goes, me too. I said, it'll be really good for you to like go do something with your mom, you know? I miss those Sundays of hanging out with my mom because I feel like my hair is like sticking out all over the place. It doesn't really matter, does it? But often on Sundays I would come over and hang out with my mom, and you know, sometimes she made a little bit of a dinner, or we would take a walk around the neighborhood, you know, and just have coffee and talk and things like that. So I love Sundays. As you guys know, Sundays are hands down my favorite holiday, that too, my favorite day of the week. I don't know why, you know, when I was growing up, I think, you know, I talked on here not too long ago about like going to church on Sundays and then coming home and like reading the comics and having lunch and like dinner or like a supper, you know, and then watching like some kind of movies and just getting ready for the week ahead. And I think like for me, Sundays have always kind of just encompassed this feeling of home, you know, just like being around the house and all of that. So I love Sundays. I think they're, you know, I always say at the end of my vlogs on Sundays, you know, get rejuvenated, relaxed, refreshed, and renewed for the week ahead. But I think that they're a really good day to kind of like be like, okay, like what's my week ahead? You know, I always make a list of like all the things I want to get done in the following week, and some of those things I do and some of the things I don't, and some of those things go to my list for the next week. And but yeah, I love Sundays, especially like a Sunday like today. It's a pretty day outside. Well, there's somebody walking by. As soon as I get done walking by, I'll show you. But it's like the wind is like really blustery, and there's a little bit of a late day sun outside, and you can see the leaves are like changing, and it's just like a perfect fall evening to watch scary shows and take naps and eat like a comfort dinner, you know, like chili or lasagna or something like that. Last night I went to Yats, and it was funny because I was telling Tanya later about my meal, and she was like, I don't think I've ever been to Yats. And she lives really close to one of the Yats. It's Yats, and so if you want to look it up online and see their menu and stuff. Anyway, and I told her, I said, Tanya, we have to go. It's like super cheap, and the food is delicious, and I hadn't been there in a while, and so they're constantly changing their menu because like they just have like a chalkboard that they write their menu on. I was telling Alex on the way over there yesterday that, because we went there as soon as I got done vlogging, but I was telling him that, I was like, do you remember I used to always get the drunken chicken? It's called drunken chicken. And he was like, okay. He was like, why can't you still get that? And I go, well, because I don't eat chicken anymore. He goes, oh yeah, I forgot. I go, how do you forget? Something like that. So, I said, I don't know, I can't remember what I used to get as their vegetarian entrees, because they have 3 like vegan / vegetarian entrees. So on the left hand side of the chalkboard, they had like 8 just like main entrees, drunken chicken, and then like just a regular jambalaya, and like they have all these different kinds, right? And then it's like a really small store, and they play like, I do have my phone. They tag, I tagged this song yesterday that they were playing. They play like either like a lot of like old time music, like if you've seen the movie House of a Thousand Corpses, the music that they play in the movie that's kind of like spooky when the people like first go to the house, that reminds me of the music they were playing in Yats yesterday when I went there. So it's just in a strip mall, like most of them here. I think, well, the two that I know of are in strip malls, but I've only been in, have I only been in one, or I've been in, anyway, the one that I usually go to, you just go inside and there's like a soda machine, there's like tables and chairs, and then there's like a counter, and then there's like the kitchen, and in the kitchen they have like these crock pots with like white rice and then like the Creole that they make, right? So they had 3 vegetarian vegan options, and the first one, which I can't remember what it was called, is the one that I always get. I don't know why, I can't remember what it was, but it has like tomatoes and stuff like that, and I was going to say sauteed tomatoes, but I don't know if they're sauteed or not, but it has like tomatoes and stuff like that in it, and it's really thick. And they also, on the counter, like by like the soda machine, they have probably, okay, I'm going to try to give an accurate, not an exaggerated amount. They probably have 30 to 40 different plastic bottles of hot sauce, and they all are labeled. They're labeled like Louisiana, Fire Rocket, Crystals, like they're all like, you know. So I put Crystals on one of them, and the other one was called Ryan Reynolds. Does Ryan Reynolds have a hot sauce? I don't know. So anyway, but I ended up, so the first one that I wanted, I said, that's the order, and she said, oh, it's going to be about a 10-minute wait if you don't mind waiting. Well, Alex is driving me, so I didn't want to make him wait. So I said, okay, I'll just get the other one, and the second one was like this corn one that I thought I had had before, but I wasn't really in the mood for like something like a corn, and so I got that, and I got extra bread, so I got a full order plus extra bread, because I just want you guys to know the price of this, since today I've been talking, I feel like, to everybody about the price of food has like shot up through the roof. Tanya was telling me yesterday that like groceries are super expensive. I guess I just don't go to the grocery store enough to really know, like, you know, what a gallon of milk costs and if it's gone up. And then I said something to Melissa today about how our brunch was so expensive. Like, our brunch is like outlandish. And when we went to Brewburger last week, Alex and I both commented about, like, I said to Alex, I said, our bill is half of what it is at brunch on Sundays. And he's like, I know. And so Melissa was telling us that she had gone out with Aaron and Eric to this steakhouse called Prime here in town for Aaron's son's birthday, and that Melissa noticed that like the steaks that they usually get and the sides and stuff like that were like $5 more than they usually are. And she's just like, everything, it's, you know, inflation and everything's going up. I didn't realize that with food. I mean, I obviously had known that with gas and things like that. But anyway, Yats has not raised their prices yet, because, so I got this corn one, and it was just like, this, I don't even know how to explain it. It was like corn and black beans, and it was like mixed up, and it was kind of spicy, but not really. It had some other stuff in it, like over white rice. And then they had another one that I had never tried before, and it was a mushroom and spinach etouffee. And I was like, I said to, because I wanted to get 2, A, because then I would have something else for today if I wanted to eat, which it didn't even make it through the night, and B, in case I didn't like one of them. So I said to her, to the girl that was working in the kitchen, she was real sweet, and I said, well, I said, I just asked, she was like standing there like 2 feet away from me, standing in the kitchen, and I said, do you like the mushroom and spinach etouffee? And the guy that was at the counter that was working, oh, that's what I love too, is that the people that work in there are like super hippie and beatnik, and they're just like super cool. I love them. And he was like, oh, it's like my favorite out of all of the vegan and vegetarian options. And I was like, really? And she was like, yeah, I love it. So I was like, okay, because I was like kind of thinking like spinach, like it would be like kind of wilty, you know, whatever. Do I really want it? But I got the spinach and mushroom etouffee over white rice with extra bread as well. And then I got a drink. And it came, those two large orders, okay, with extra bread and a drink, came to $22. So I thought that was really pretty good. So you could, you know, go on a date for $20 at Yats. So anyway, I took that stuff home, and then I watched RuPaul's Drag Race UK. Well, Alex, he was getting ready to go out to meet his friend after his friend went to this wedding. So I was sitting there watching RuPaul's Drag Race UK, and I started, like, I took a bite of, like, the corn one, and I was like, you know, I should try that mushroom spinach etouffee, because it was just sitting on the kitchen counter. I was like, before I eat this, I should just try that and see if I even like it. So I took my fork into the kitchen, and I, like, took a bite of it, and I was like, oh my god. Like, I don't know if they have curry in it or what it is. I love anything curried. It's so, like, it was so funny because I was telling Tanya that, and she was like, you know, I don't really like anything curried. And her son Nick, she was like, I never cooked with curry when I was growing up because I don't think he does either. But my mom, my favorite meal that my mom ever made was called chicken curry. And it was, I mean, just chicken and broccoli and, like, this curry sauce in there, and I loved it. And she would bake it like a casserole. And we would always have it with garlic bread. For some reason, this mushroom spinach etouffee totally tasted like my mom's chicken curry. It was so delicious. And so I was like, well, forget this corn business. I'm eating this. I mean, it was so good, you guys. I could not, I was like devouring it. And then, like, I would, like, you know, take a little fork full of it, and I would put it on my garlic bread, and I would eat it with my garlic bread. It was so good. And I got a root beer to drink too. So anyway, a fountain root beer. Melissa and I were talking about that today because I really like Ruth's Cafe, and I can't get anybody to go to Ruth's Cafe with me. Back in the day, everybody loved Ruth's Cafe. Now I can't get anybody to go there with me. And Melissa's like, well, I used to like it, but she's like, you know what I don't like about it? And I was like, what? And she goes, come on, you can figure it out. And I go, no, what? And she was like, they don't have fountain pops. And I go, oh yeah, because they serve, like, if you get a Coke, they bring you a Coke in, like, you know, a bottle. Not like a glass bottle, but like a plastic bottle. And I was like, oh. That is true. Like, I think that's weird. Like, I like a fountain drink if I go to a restaurant, which a fountain drink is, like, on ice, you know, like, and tap. So anyway, I ate that. I watched RuPaul's Drag Race UK. And then I put the corn one just sitting on the counter in the kitchen. And Boo Radley and I took a little bit of a nap because I was just, like, exhausted yesterday. And I just wanted to nap and relax. Oh, here's this nice couple. They're always so sweet. They usually look over here and wave, but they're not looking over here today. So anyway, Boo and I lay down, and Alex was, like, texting me the whole time. Oh, so he was supposed to meet his friend at, like, 8 o'clock at this bar restaurant, but, like, when it's downtown, it's called Mesh, but, like, they have, like, a reception area, I guess, upstairs, or, like, a restaurant area that they had reserved for the reception of this wedding, which Alex, like, he knew the guy, but, like, he wasn't, like, it was his friend's old roommate, so he didn't know him really well. Like, he wasn't invited to the wedding, obviously, right? He hadn't seen him in, like, 10 years. And so, when Alex got to the like, 10 minutes into his Uber ride, his friend texted him and said, dinner is starting late, so we're not going to get done until 9. Well, Alex was supposed to meet him at 8. So this was at, like, 7:45. So Alex texted me and he said, I'm sitting at the bar and I'm having a martini espresso and some fries. And I said, because if it was me, I'd just turn around and come back home and be like, okay, another night. But I don't really care that much about going out. So I said, are you bored? And he's like, no, I'm not bored. He's like, I'm just looking at stuff on my phone and whatever. But so anyway, and then about a half an hour later, his friend came down and, like, brought him up to the reception because they were like, yeah, just bring him up. If he's sitting down there by himself, that's stupid. So they brought Alex up, and then he texted me and he was like, they're all so very nice. He was like, but I'm, like, really, like, this is really awkward, which is so funny because, like, Alex never gets like this. He's like, I know 2 people. He was like, I know the guy that got married, and he was like, I know his old roommate. And he was like, and that's it. He was like, old roommate from IU. Okay, you guys, like, this is like 20 years ago. So Alex is like, I don't know any of these people. And he's like, it's really awkward. But he ended up having a good time. He and his friend, they stayed there, and then they went to this bar called Teeny's, which is kind of known as a gay bar in Indianapolis, but I've only been there. I thought I hadn't been there at all, and then, like, yesterday when Alex and I were driving back from Yats, Alex was like, you went to Teeny's when our friend from Denver was in from out of town. And I was like, oh, I guess I did go there. But we were just there for probably, I don't know, they had a drink, so we were there for maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes. And it seemed like a really mixed crowd to me. I was telling Alex today, like, one of the things that's kind of sad, I guess, in Indianapolis is that there's not really, like, this centralized, like, gay community here anymore. Not that I mean, I only have like a handful of gay friends across the country. So it's not like I'm going out to gay bars every weekend and stuff like that, you know? I mean, there's times that I kind of miss that sometimes, but I mean, I don't go out really at all anyway. But when I started going out in Indianapolis, like this bar, Talbot Street, that, well, it opened, Talbot Street probably opened 3 or 4 years after I started going out, maybe longer than that. And it had previously, like in the 70s, been Talbot Street, and then they reopened it as, it had been a gay bar called Talbot Street, and they reopened it. But then it had been, after Talbot Street, it had been the 21 Club, and when it was the 21 Club, it was like super famous gay bar in the United States, and it hosted like all of these like national drag pageants. I think Miss Gay US of A was like at the 21 Club, or Miss Gay America or something like that. But and we had like a lot of like national drag title holders that lived in Indianapolis, and drag was like this huge thing in Indianapolis when I came out. And, you know, we would just go from bar to bar to bar to bar to bar. You know, there was, I mean, there were probably, at the time that I came out, 10 plus gay bars in Indianapolis, you know? That had drag shows, that had dancing, that had all kinds of stuff. So you'd start at one bar, and then you'd go to another bar, and then another bar, you know, throughout the course of the evening. Now, that's not really the case. So last night they had drinks at this place where they had the reception, Mesh. But Mesh isn't like a gay bar or anything, it's just like a restaurant bar. And back in the day, though, I was telling Alex, like, we used to go there when I first started dating Alex, and I think it was called Scholars Inn, and on Thursday night they had like half-price martini night, and so we would meet a bunch of his friends from college, and I think it was Thursday nights, and we would go there, and they had like a fire pit outside and stuff like that, and we would just like sit there and talk and whatever. And because we would usually go to the Jazz Kitchen on Thursday nights for salsa night. The Jazz Kitchen is a bar in Broad Ripple here. They had salsa night on Thursday nights, and then Alex and I would go. We would meet some of his friends, his girlfriends there, and then we would, and his cousin Maya, she used to live here, and she would go to salsa night at the Jazz Kitchen, and then like Maya and Alex and I would go down to the Scholars Inn or some stuff. But anyway, so from there they went, apparently, I don't know anything about this. Like, I have no clue about any of these things whatsoever. I wouldn't even know how to find Teenies, to be honest with you, except for that I know it's on Mass Ave. But I know it's by Metro, which is like a gay bar that's been around since I've been out. But anyway, apparently the guy that owns this Teenies bar bought like a restaurant next door that has like brunches, and then he turned it into a drag bar at night, and it's called Almost Famous, which I think is a really cute name for a bar. And so they went there for like the drag show last night, and Alex was like sending me videos and stuff like that. Here, I'll show you a picture. But I asked Alex what he thought, and he goes, it really wasn't my vibe. He goes, but you would have completely loved it. And I was like, why? Here, I'll show you. This is the picture that he sent me. And he was like, every performer was like Dragula. He was like, so you would have totally loved it. He was like that first person I sent you a picture of, he was like, she came out in like this whole white outfit, and then she spit blood all over herself, and it like ran down, and he was like, I'm just like, that's not my thing. He was like, but you love all of that. I love the show Dragula. I do so much, and it's coming out, I think, on the 25th of October, the new season, which is called Something of the Titans. I think it's like the best of all the seasons. Is coming out. I love it. I honestly, like, well, period, I love drag. I know you guys know that, and I love drag shows, and I love drag pageants, and I love everything about it. But I feel like many, I won't say all, because I think, you know, that's a huge generalization, just like to say it for RuPaul's Drag Race. I feel like many of the queens on Dragula are leaps and bounds more creative and talented than the queens on RuPaul's Drag Race. And what makes me really sad about it is that if you get on RuPaul's Drag Race, it's kind of like you have like, well, I don't know how true this is anymore because there's so many of them, but it's kind of like, you know, you're going to go to DragCon, you know that you're going to get like bookings across the country, at least for that next year, you know that if you're somebody that makes it kind of towards the end, like let's say the last 5 or 6 on the season, and you have a lot of, like catchphrases and taglines and things like that, people are probably going to love you. It's like Miss Vanjie, I mean, like, that's what she got famous for, not for being the best drag queen in the world, right? Which I love Vanjie. So, like, that's not anything about that, but I like her personality is what I like. So it makes me kind of sad that, because Dragula is more of these underground queens, these spooky queens or whatever they want to call them, that they, don't get as noticed. Like, it's interesting to me, I noticed this, like, so I follow Dolly he won Dragula last season. Now, I love Dolly, okay? I think he is very easy on the eyes, and I think he is super, super creative. And by the way, if you didn't watch this vlog from a year ago, hold on a second. He follows me, and I got very excited when I found out that he followed me on Instagram. So I was like, oh my god, he follows me, and I sent him this like really nice message and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, so I love Dolly, okay? I don't know if you pronounce his name Dolly or whatever, but anyway, it doesn't matter. He is like super creative and really great, right? Well, what's so interesting to me is that like almost every queen on RuPaul's Drag Race, like before the season is even over, like even like some of them, like not all, okay, but even some of them like in Canada and the UK, they get their blue check mark on Instagram, and he's the winner of Dragula, and he doesn't even have a blue check mark on Instagram, which I'm sure he could give a shit about, right? But I'm just like, that to me just like speaks volumes about how we look at different parts of art, right? And I will say this, it was interesting because he does Q&As a lot on his Instagram. Like, well, he'll just say, ask me questions. Then he fires off questions, and then people ask him these questions, and then he answers them with, like, really, like, kind of, like, tongue-in-cheek, asinine answers. But somebody asked him something, and they said, like, does it bother you? I can't remember how they asked him, but they said something like, does it bother you that your drag is considered underground, or do you think like it would help you if like you were like known, like more famous or whatever? And I can't remember how he responded to it, but it was very, I mean, first of all, it was very humble. And second of all, it was very much like, I look at it like my art and what I enjoy doing. So like the notoriety of it isn't really what I'm going for. It isn't really what I'm going after. But like, that is a good question. Like, if it wasn't considered underground anymore, would it be as appealing as it is? If that makes sense, right? Like, if it wasn't considered, like, scary, spooky drag, would it be as appealing as it, was before? I don't know. I also think the Boulet brothers, who put on Dragula and have been doing club performances and have been doing, like, club shows and club pageants and stuff for years and years and years, go watch their interview with Johnny McGovern and watch them do Look at Her, because they've been so involved in like the club scene for literally like 30 years and know everybody and have been like a huge part of the club scene, and it's really cool to watch like on a historical level. I think they're geniuses. I really, really do. And there are a couple that have lasted, I don't know if they've been together 30 years. I don't know how long, so I'm pulling that out of my butt. But 10 years, 20 years, I don't know how long the Boulet brothers have been together, but they have, I just think they're genius. I really do. And I think the other thing that's genius about this show is that it's the opposite of RuPaul's Drag Race. Like, if you watch Dragula, it's very similar. I mean, there's very similar aspects to RuPaul's Drag Race and Dragula. I mean, you can't say there aren't, that it's a competition reality show of drag. But at the same time, like, it doesn't feel like it's in competition with RuPaul. Like, I don't think that RuPaul or the Boulet brothers would say that they felt like one or the other show was in competition with the other, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like And there was even one queen on RuPaul's Drag Race that like was on Dragula. J. Jolie like changed her drag name and changed everything about it, and she was on the last season. I think that's who it was, J. Jolie. But I don't think that, like, it never feels like to me when I'm watching Dragula, like, I can love them both equally for different reasons. Like, I don't feel, this is such a silly conversation, why am I even having this, but I don't feel like they feel like they're in competition with each other, if that makes sense, you know? Like, and I don't feel like I feel like the Boulet brothers and RuPaul could be somewhere and be like, hey, how are you? And it could be very civil and they don't have any issues with each other. Like, I don't feel like they are competitors with each other. In fact, they're hosting, they do like this big Halloween like party. I think it's like a pageant, like different kind of spin on a pageant though. Like every year, I think it's in LA. And like they have several Ru girls that like Trixie Mattel is going to be there performing. And there's somebody else, maybe Sharon Needles or Alaska. I can't remember, but it's somebody big from RuPaul's Drag Race is like another performer there as well. They have like big, like 5 names, like Dolly. And anyway, so I'm really excited about that. How did I even get talking about that? This is why I need to have a channel where I'm talking about TV shows and movies, because I just love talking about TV shows and movies so much. I should just take this part out and clip it out and just put it up on my review channel is what I should do. Oh, you guys, my mums, they are lasting. They are doing well. I'm really happy about it. I do need to water them today, though. I'm going to put my little pumpkins up here on the chair, and then I'm going to get my watering can out. Well, my watering can has a leak in it, so I'm going to, this little watering bucket thing I'm going to do and water each of them. Yeah, and then Alex should be home not too long. He'll probably be so tired. He was tired before he left for the movie. Last night, when did we do last night? Oh, well, okay, so he wasn't out too late. He had a hard time getting an Uber home. That was one of the things he said the Ubers kept on canceling. I got up and I watched Fear the Walking Dead. And I finished season 2 of Fear the Walking Dead. I watched like 3 episodes of it. 4 episodes, something like that. And I thought it was kind of strange. I thought, okay, well now, because there were 15 episodes in season 2, and then I think like the rest of the seasons, like 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, I don't know how many seasons there are, have 16 episodes. That makes no sense, right? And the first season had 6 episodes. So I'm on season 3. I started it, and I'm like 10 minutes into it, because I kind of wanted to just see how season 3 starts, because I was watching it, and all of a sudden, like, season 2 just is over. Like, all this stuff happens, and then, like, you know, like, I really thought there was going to be, like, a final episode of season 2, and it goes right into season 3. So if I had known that was the finale, if I had known that was the finale, it kind of would have probably made sense to me that it was the finale, you know? That, because there were a lot of, like, big things that were happening, but I thought I had one more episode after that, and so I was like, I wasn't expecting for that to be the final episode of season 2. I know, it's silly. Why do you care, Peter? I don't know. And then I really want to start The Midnight Club on Netflix. But here's the thing, is that I now have so many shows started that I need to finish. Like, I need to finish The Ultimate Girls Trip season 1 just to get that off my list. Okay. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I'm really just watching the reunion now, so that's really over. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, that's on once a week. The Patient, 2 more episodes, that's on once a week. Manifest, that's a show that I'm watching, like, currently, you know, whatever. Real Housewives, Ultimate Girls Trip Season 1. I've got 1 episode left. I need to just finish that. La Brea, Season 2, that's 1 episode a week. RuPaul's Drag Race UK, that's 1 episode a week. Alaska Daily, that's 1 episode a week. Friend of the Family, I have 3 episodes of that. So that's another show I'm watching, and Fear the Walking Dead. So I have 3 shows that I'm currently watching that I need, well, Ultimate Manifest, Real Housewives, Ultimate Girls Trip, Friend of the Family, Fear the Walking Dead. So if I added the Midnight Club to that. That's 5 shows that I'm currently watching, which it's like, this is the way I was like looking at it, because I really like to watch different shows, you know? But at the same time, I also like to binge watch shows. I was like, if I just watched like 2 or 3 episodes of like Manifest a week, then it would be like I was watching it in real time, right? But I don't really like to watch shows in real time. I really like to binge watch shows. So then it stopped. So then it's like, well, what am I going to watch tonight? Am I going to watch Manifest? Am I going to watch Fear the Walking Dead? Am I going to go watch The Midnight Club? And I know this is what's going to happen. As soon as I get done with The Midnight Club, something else good is going to come out. And then I have movies on top of that I want to watch. So it's like, what are you going to do? So many people were asking me what Melissa thought of the Halloween movie. And so we had an extensive conversation about it today. When we left the movie theater the other day, she was like, yeah, I was pretty disappointed. But she was also like, but I kind of want to think about it and I might want to rewatch it again on Peacock. So she rewatched it, and then she was kind of like looking for things, and she was like watching these videos on YouTube where people were talking about the ending, and she's like, there's a lot of like Easter eggs, like Easter eggs are like, you know, like hidden little things in there or whatever. And so that's the word I'm looking for. But anyway, she was like now, well, I'm not going to say because I don't want to spoil the movie. If you haven't, it's over on my review channel. But there's a lot of things in the movie. I wouldn't say a lot. I'd say there's 5 or 6 things in the movie that reference the original movie, that are like the original, like exactly like the original, just repeated. But it's done in such a weird way that it doesn't feel, I don't know, I still, like, I stand by my review 100%. I told her that. I said, I just thought it was horrible. And I said, you know what, Melissa? I said the number one thing, and she agreed. She was like, yeah, she was like, I agree with you. She was like, it was really disappointing. She was like, you know, like they had one, like, kill scene with he and Lori, and that was it. The thing about it was, and this was ultimately what it came down to for me, and I didn't even say this in my review, I wasn't scared. At all. Like, it's a horror movie. It's not even just a horror movie, but it's supposedly the greatest horror movie of all time, right? It is the horror movie that supposedly started slasher movies, and I wasn't scared at all. And it wasn't because I have watched these movies. This whole camera is like way too high. And it wasn't because I've watched these movies 1,000 times, because listen, Linda, I can put on, seriously, like I could go inside right now because it's kind of dark outside. Well, not really dark, but it's darker. Just doing stuff inside the house. I could put on any of those movies in the background while I'm uploading this vlog or doing stuff around the house, and just the music alone would terrify me. True story. It would scare me, right? So the fact that I sat in this movie for, you know, 2 hours, and there wasn't even one scene when I was really that scared or jumped. I mean, I held on to my popcorn bucket a little bit because I was like, okay, like if there was a jump scare, like jump scare, or is that what it's called? Jump scare, jump scare. I didn't want to like toss my popcorn, you know, and I thought there would be a lot of them in this movie. There were none. There were no jump scares in this movie. So I was like, it is what it is. And, I've heard Smile is really good. I've heard the Terrorizer 2 is really good. I have to see the Terrorizer 1 because I haven't seen the Terrorizer 2. I may have to watch it by myself because Alex doesn't really want to watch it because he's like, I don't really like gory stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll watch it on my own then. I tried my best, but I guess my best wasn't good enough. I wonder how long that movie is. That movie should be getting over soon. Let's see. Trip to Paradise. Length. "104 minutes. What is that? An hour and 44 minutes. So the movie started at 5. So with previews, it probably started at 5:15. So it should be getting off. It should be getting over, like literally right now. So They should be coming home any second. They might go to dinner somewhere, but I would be really surprised if they did, because I'd be really surprised if they went to dinner somewhere, because Alex was really tired. So I'm sure he's like, I'm not wanting to go anywhere, you know? I tried my best, but I guess my best wasn't good enough. What is that from? Or is that just a song? Let's look it up. It's pulling up like 100 best song tracks. So I tried my best, but I guess my best wasn't good enough. It's by Vaccine. I've never heard of them in my entire life. I don't think that's right. Do you think that's right? Have you ever heard of that band, Vaccine? I've never heard of that before. I have never heard of the band Vaccine before. My grandma back in the day, she used to watch that show. I don't remember what it's called. Love American Style. Do you guys remember that show? It was so corny. And that was another show that she would say was not for Peter. Because it was like adults only kind of show. Oh my Lord. But I watched it anyway. Don't think I didn't. I tried my best, but I guess my best wasn't good enough. Today was actually not too bad outside temperature-wise. It was like, well, when we walked out for brunch, I had my sweatshirt on, my hoodie, and Alex had a t-shirt on, and I said, are you not wearing like a coat or a hoodie, jacket or a hoodie? And he was like, no, it's warm outside. I go, it's warm? And he's like, yeah, when I took Boo out to outside to go potty, he was like, I was actually kind of surprised it was warm. He was like, I was warm in my robe. And I said, oh, okay. I said, so let me walk out. There's like a bug right there. I said, let me walk outside. And I walked outside. I was like, well, I'm perfectly fine in a hoodie. Like, I don't want to put on a t-shirt. I wouldn't say it is, when we were coming back from brunch, I think it said 60 something. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's like warm by any means, but I also wouldn't say that it's like cold. Not cold. Let's see what the temp is. Like, if I had on jeans, I would be completely fine. It's 58. There's a freeze warning tonight. Tomorrow it's supposed to be 45. Those are the days it's supposed to get cold. 45, 45, 50, 58, 67. So until Friday, we're going to have... And then this weekend, 72, 75, 73, 72. Yeah, and then it... Yeah. Look at those Uggs. They're kind of cute. I like those. They're like Ugg shoes, though. I don't know if I think those would look that cute. I do love my Ugg boots, though. Oh, okay, you guys, listen, I'm going to get off here so I can start rendering this vlog and getting it done for tonight, so I get it up and get it done. And, yeah, so anyway... And then I'm going to go inside and rejuvenate, refresh, renew, and... Rejuvenate, refresh, renew... Relocate? No. Why can't I replenish and replenish for the week ahead? And so should you. So anyway, thank you for hanging out on the front porch with me. I really, really appreciate it. It's been really fun tonight. And if nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And remember these 3 very important things. Well, first of all, I just want to say I hope that you guys have a magically amazing Sunday and a magically amazing beginning to your week. And remember these 3 very important things. 1, you can start your day over whenever you want. 2, practice random acts of kindness, but shh, don't tell anyone. And 3, most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know you're thinking of them. Just text them and say, hey, Grandma, I'm thinking of you tonight. Hope you're having a good Sunday. Or, hi, Mom, hi, Dad. Hey, sis, what's going on? Or a friend or whatever, you know? You might just cheer up somebody that needs some cheering up. And also, be kinder to one another, love one another a little bit more, and most importantly, be kinder and love yourself a little bit more. And I love you guys so much. Thanks for hanging out, like I said, on the front porch with me. And I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. I love you, and I will see you then. Bye. Love ya.